Hello, everyone. It's Isis Augustino back with Fast for Magazine, and today my lovely guest is Diego Tinoco. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for having
much for being here.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Perfect. Well, and I feel like we have a perfect question to start that off then, because I feel like this is something everyone is wondering. And that is, if you could be a mythical creature that doesn't exist yet, what would you be?
Ooh, wow. I mean, that's a really great question. I love that question. Well, mythical, let's see. I've always loved vampires and werewolves. I would definitely want to be either a vampire or a werewolf. But you said if they don't exist. I
Mhm.
think they exist. I think they're out there in the world. So maybe speaking of mythical ones, I would want to be I don't know if you ever saw Dragon Ball Z, but I'd want to be a Super Saiyan. They have,
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z, so I would have to say that, since the obvious, vampires are real.
Ooh, anime fan, I see. Alright. And the important question I have to follow that up with is what's your favorite anime?
Without a doubt, Dragon Ball Z. I just did a live action adaptation of a movie, of a series, an anime series called Knights of the Zodiac. So we
Yeah.
just the live action adaptation film. So I would have to say Knights of the Zodiac second, and then third. I'm really excited for the One Piece anime. I'm very excited. My friend McKenny was on that, and
Hmm.
it's Netflix studio that I've worked with in the past, and they always create magnificent work, and I'm excited to check that out.
I knew Night of the Zodiac was its own thing before the adaptation. I did not know it's an anime though. I would definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, it was a manga, and then it turned into a series in the '80s, an anime series, and then Netflix did like a 3D anime version of it. And yeah, they're all really good, all great stuff, great story.
Um, and kind of talking about Knights of the Zodiac. Prior to doing that, you were Caesar from And the Black, which is
That's
a
right.
total genre change as far as like characters and TV shows and movies. I was wondering if there was any difference in the way that you had to prepare for Nero versus when you were preparing for Caesar?
Yeah. There was definitely a big difference. Absolutely. I think the biggest difference, the thing that I didn't, you don't really, you can't really prepare for until you're there. It was the CGI. It was my first
Yeah,
time working with a green screen. So it was my first time working with a green screen. And I didn't know what to expect. As an actor in this industry, you hear a lot of horror stories about working with green screen. So I was expecting the worst, but honestly, I loved it. I loved it. Felt like being a little kid using your imagination on a playground, and you have to imagine this grand epic battle. So for me, that was the biggest difference shooting on my block in Knights of the Zodiac, working with
mhm.
CGI and green screen. But honestly, I'm both bring so much joy to me, and I love what I get to do, and it's just such a blast.
Yeah, and I feel like with green screen, like if you're not prepared or used to working with it, it's a bit more difficult
Mhm.
from an acting standpoint because there is no giant castle behind you or fiery war zone happening. So you kind of have to make it all up in your mind and go with
Exactly.
it.
Yeah,
And I just kind of hope that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
I was about to say, yeah, it's a lot of it is, you have to have a lot of trust in your director, and
Hmm.
you have to be smart as an actor and ask the right questions. You have to ask the director, hey, director, where exactly is this monster coming from? Where exactly am I getting hit on my armor? Where exactly am I looking for that action? Because if you're an actor and you're on the set and you don't ask these questions, you're gonna come up on the big screen and you're gonna look. like your performance is going to be scattered all over the place. It's not going to make sense, and the audience will be very confused. So you have to ask the right questions when you're on a set, and I think that's half of the work as an actor. You're just knowing what to ask. So on the day, you just plug it in.
That makes total sense. Because if you don't know, you can't work with that.
Exactly, exactly. Ask the
Uh,
right questions, and you shall receive the right answers.
Most definitely. What was your favorite scene you feel like in Knights of the Zodiac? And kind of what was your favorite scene for you to actually shoot?
I think for me my favorite scene would definitely have to be the scene where Nero, my character, aka
Mhm.
he turns into the Phoenix Knight. It was the first time where he shows the world who he is, who he really is, for better or worse. And when I was shooting that, I didn't think of the impact that it had. And then once it was released, once I started getting Instagram DMs and Twitter tweets from Latinos from all around the world saying, "Man, I feel represented. Man, I feel seen. Man, I grew up with that anime, and it's such an honor to have a Latino playing that character that was
Mhm.
loved by all of South America, all of Mexico. So being Latino, right? It's just a huge moment in my career, and it's huge to be able to represent. And I plan on doing more projects like that. I want to do more projects that are inspiring and uplifting my culture, my people, and more than that, the youth of today, right? I really want to just put out the message that if you work hard, you can get what you want out of this life. We're all born with certain cards in life, some better, some worse. But if it's what you do with those cards, you know what I'm saying? That can really either make or break the experience of being alive. Um, and yeah, I try to tell the kids of today that because it's yeah.
I feel like it's always something important for people to remember. Because I feel like, because everybody is given different scenarios in life, different qualities, different X, Y, and Z. And I feel like it's very easy for people to just see the very bad out of that.
Mhm.
Whereas instead, if you really look at it and think about it and evaluate it, you can turn all of those things into something that actually successful for you in
Mhm.
a way.
Mhm.
So I very much agree with that whole statement.
I love that.
Uh,
It's a great mindset. It's such a somebody wrote on my TikTok the other day. They commented, "How are you always so happy? Man, I wish I could be so happy like you are." And I wrote him an honest reply. I was like, "Hey, it might look like I'm happy all the time, but man, some of my days, so I have times where I'm very down.
mhm.
Uh, but the thing that I've learned is the person who can keep this uplifting, positive mindset, those are the people who we always want to be around for some reason. It's like a superpower. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh yeah.
any of those people, and I see it in you, right? You have this bright smile, and you have such a positive demeanor. Uh, those are the people we want to conversate with. Those are the people we want to talk to and go into depth about subjects and conversations, and those are the people that everybody wants to be around.
Oh yeah, and I definitely think a lot of I feel like the more positive people you keep around you, it will eventually kind of uh branch out into you, and you
Mm,
can kind of also start being that positive person in other aspects of your life. Because
mm,
if you just keep the same kind of depressing Debbie Downers,
yeah,
very surface level around you, I
yeah,
feel like it kind of drags you down.
mm,
Most definitely. Um,
yeah. No, man,
uh,
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's a beautiful mindset to have. I love it.
Also, because you were talking about being Latino a bit earlier,
Yeah.
you come from a very diverse background.
Mhm.
You're half Mexican, half Ecuadorian. And I was wondering if you could share with us some about your culture and just your upbringing in general.
Yeah, so my mother is from Ecuador, my father is from Mexico. I was, proudly born in California, SoCal.
Ah.
And it was, growing up over here, I like anything, like anyone, lots of ups and downs.
Hmm.
Um, but the thing that really stuck with me that I gained from my parents was you just you have to make the world, um you have to create the world that you want to live in, if that makes sense. Like the
Hmm.
world is such a big place, and if you try to place your focus everywhere, you'll get lost. You will get distracted, you will get lost. You won't know where to go, who to follow, what's right, what's wrong. But if you take the simple principles that they've taught me in life, right, and then you apply that to create your own little world with your own dreams and your own goals and your own focus and your own path, and you create your own path, uh, you can have it, you can achieve it, and you can create it, you can build it more than anything. You won't get it. I hate the word. I want it. I get it. You don't get it.
You work for it, and
You work for
then
it, sure, but you have
yep,
to build it, and you have to work for it, and you have to
yep.
die. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I really learned from my father. My father came into this country with absolutely nothing. He was dirt poor, came to this country, and I saw. I mean, I was born once my father, had worked his way up and created his own business, and he had one of the biggest businesses in Southern California for pest controls. And I really admire my father for that. I admire the empire that he built. That I saw, he built it, and my mother for being the brains of that, because my mother was the one who was, the brain behind that whole operation. But I just really look up to my parents. I'm inspired by their work ethic, and in my own life, I want to create something at least half as good as what they've created. But I'm on my way, and I want to keep going. And, treat them to some nice stuff too down the line.
That's amazing. I think you're definitely on your way there. You've definitely made some big splashes in your career so far, and I definitely think slowly but surely you're gonna get there.
Yeah, so and exactly, slowly but surely. Another message I really love. A lot of today, it's everyone wants the whole world and they want it tomorrow, and it's like, guys, don't destroy your mental health trying to take the whole world in one bite. It's impossible. It can't be done. You have to work
Mhm.
slowly but surely every day, work diligently, work, and slowly but surely, like you just said.
Mhm. I feel like because even me and one of my other friends, who's an artist, we both do art on the side uh, of everything else. But we often get into conversations a lot of the time about just at least from a creative standpoint. Because I feel like any creative career, there's the good, the bad, and the dirty, and it's always competitive and it's always really hard to get into. Um, but we're always talking about sometimes the struggles of it, but we're also big advocates of, the hard work and the grind, the sleepless nights that you put in now. We are full believers that down the road, those will pay off into something beautiful. Um, that's why I always admire people who start doing freelance stuff right off the bat, because that's hard to do, because you're so dependent on other people liking what you do,
Mm-hmm.
in order to, you know, get anywhere. Um, especially, I've had musicians tell me with like their stuff, like, yeah, we started out on just doing our stuff on social media or whatever, which I have a huge amount of respect for because I call social media the quote unquote. So when it comes to creative aspects, anyway, I call it the soul crushing, dream smashing, creative sucking entity because you always have to feed it. There's no break. So
Yeah. Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with social media.
Yes.
I think for a long time I was very I don't want to insecure. Yeah, sure. I'm not afraid to show you. Now maybe I was a little
Mhm.
insecure. I was a little shy. I was a little kind of like I didn't understand how much I should engage with social media. I didn't understand how serious I should take it. I didn't understand
Mhm.
how much of the world I could show of myself. I'm 25 years old now. I've lived enough life to realize that life is very short. Life is very precious. What you have to appreciate it. Every day above ground is a good day. Um, and we can't take life too serious because it's going to be over very soon.
Oh yeah.
And for me, I think that was one of the biggest realizations. I was like, what am I doing with this social media presence? I want to connect with people. I want to give back to my fans, to the people who've supported me. I want to talk to them. I want to help them in any way I can, in the smallest ways, whether it's a tax tip, whether it's a health tip, whether it's a career tip. I want to help people because should the lights go out tomorrow on me, I want to know that I left it all on the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I actually just recently started a an acting course online. It's at thediegotinoco.com. And I started an acting course because the number one question that I keep getting asked every single time that I meet a fan or somebody who's seen the show, they ask me, how did you become an actor? I've always wanted to start, but I don't know where to start. How did you do it? So I created a 16-step online course and it's available June
Mhm.
1st, so in 1 week. And
Oh,
anybody
congratulations.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. Anybody and everybody who wants to become an actor, who's even curious about how to get started, I put it out there. It's online at a super affordable price. Most acting courses are like $200 to $800 a month. I
Oh.
16 classes, 16 chapters for like I think $40. They put it. My team put it at like $40. They wanted to put it at like 200.
Mm.
They wanted to put it at 400, but I was like, guys, let's
Oh.
let's do it. Let's do it. My creative team. I was like, guys, let's do it for like $40, man. Who cares? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
it's an Uber Eats meal, you know? So I was like, come on, 40, okay. Either Chick-fil-A or some knowledge. What do you guys want? But yeah, no, I'm very excited for that. And I wanna start doing a lot more things to really connect with the people who have supported me. And I want to give back. Life's short. I just want to make the most of it. I want to have the most fun and work really hard and give back to the world.
What is something that you wish that the industry taught you early on that you think would be valuable to teach to people going into acting right now in the beginning?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I go all into depth about that on the course. I do like I think it's like 4 hours, 4 hour course on every single little detail. But honestly, the thing that I'm understanding now, being in this career since 2018, is it's literally the smallest increments and the smallest details that you have to perfect that will make the biggest difference in your career, night and day. It's the smallest things that we don't focus on starting off as an actor that
Mhm.
make or break your career essentially. And I dive into all of that. I talk about all the time. I always tell the story how I literally right before my audition for On My Block, I had done like I want to say like 200, 300 auditions, and I just got told no. Oh, time after time, no, 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 no. And I remember the day I got the audition for On My Block, I remember thinking, this is just another audition. They're just gonna tell me no. I don't want to study. I want to go out with my friends. It's the weekend. It's Friday. I want to go out, hang out, and be an 18-year-old and just enjoy life for once. But something told me, hey, sit down, study, read your lines, make your choices, prepare for your audition. And this, whether it makes a difference or not, you have to show up for your dream. If you don't show up for your dream will not show up for you. I stayed indoors. I didn't go out. All my friends went out. They enjoyed the night. I saw it on like Snapchat. I was like, I wish I went. And I sat there and I studied and I fell asleep. I woke up the next day showed up to my meeting, and it made the biggest difference. Just those simple exercises that I practiced, that I talk about in the program. I practiced these exercises. I sat there, I took in the material, and I showed up, and 2 hours of my life essentially changed everything. Investing 2 hours of my time changed the entire trajectory of my life, and it's such a like a butterfly effect. You know what I mean? It's such a like such a the smallest things in life can make the biggest difference, and that's what I talk about in the program. The things that you need to absolutely focus on, and some other things, but I'm gonna keep those hush hush.
So, sort of going back to, because you were talking about your family and your culture, and you were talking about how they were very inspirational
Yeah.
for you growing up. How did they respond when you went into the entertainment industry? And how how do you feel like they best supported you?
Well, starting off, my mother did not want me to be an actor. She said, "Diego, you're crazy. Don't do that. Get a job as like a bank, something like, I don't know, somebody who works at the bank, or she wanted me to be a translator, I think." And I was like, "Mom, I barely can speak English or Spanish." But but yeah, she didn't want me to do it. My father, on the other hand, he knew how much it meant to me. He wanted me to work for his company, his termite company, pest control company. But I told him, I was like, "Dad, I'm 18 years old. This is my dream. I have to go chase this." And he looks me in the eye and he says, "You know what? If that's what you want, you go out there and you go and chase that dream. You're young. This is the time to chase big dreams. This is the time to fall flat on your face. And if you fall flat on your face," he's like, "you'll be okay. You got time to recover." So I literally went out to Los Angeles, 18 years old. I moved into these apartments that were, not so the best, not in the best area, and quite frankly, they were a little dangerous, right? Um, and my mother would call me every night. She didn't visit me much. She was a little scared of the apartments. Um, but she would always send me blessings and pray for me. And my father, he'd always motivate me. Anytime I had a bad audition or something, or a bad class, because I was always in acting class, he'd be like, "Hey, you're okay. What's for you is for you. It's coming. It's coming. What's for you is for you. It is coming." And sure enough, it came, and I was ready at the right time, the right place, with the right mind, and again, it's all about being ready.
That's amazing. It's always nice to hear, when parents actually support their kids, even though I feel like there's a lot of doubts for a lot of things in this industry, which is fair. There's a lot of uncertainty about stuff, and
Yeah,
no guarantee that everything's gonna happen, especially when you want or need it to. But
yeah,
it's always nice to hear, especially from parents that aren't working in that line of work, to kind of support it. We were talking earlier as, you do come from a very diverse background,
mhm,
and I feel like we're getting better about it, but we don't always show how diverse cultures and ethnicities are in the
mhm.
world with a lot of our characters. And I just wanted to talk some about the importance of that representation to you in the portrayals.
Yeah, absolutely. Representation is a very important subject. It's a very important thing in this industry of cinema, of movies. I think movies, music, and I mean, mostly movies and music, those are the two major like sources of entertainment, sources of influence, sources of inspiration. And listen, I think one of the most important things that we need to do in the world is to inspire the youth. We need to inspire children. We need to inspire kids, and we need to inspire them with correct messages, with powerful messages that are motivating, that will uplift them, that will help them be better people, better sons and daughters, and people in this whole world, right? So if you're a kid and you don't see anybody ever who looks like you on a movie screen, and
Uh-huh.
everybody looks completely different than you, right? And I won't go into specifics, but we could all,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
but it's like how do you expect that child to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel connected to? Listen, growing up, I had a skin condition called vitiligo, patchy skin all over my left arm. It's not bad anymore, but it used to be really bad, especially when I was younger. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and my all my hair right here was white. It was literally white hair because there was no pigment in my skin, and there was the dye. And I just remember feeling like an outcast, like a little monster. I just remember feeling like because nobody would ever
Alienated.
alienated. Absolutely, nobody ever put me on their team. Nobody ever wanted to get near me because they thought like I was infectious, or like they thought that I was like that my skin condition was contagious. So they really avoided me at all costs. It wasn't until I started watching a lot of Tim Burton films where I started seeing these monsters, right? These monsters, and for some reason I connected with these people. I connected with these images and the story and these characters who felt such like they felt like such outcasts. And it was the first time in my life where I was like, wow, I feel like I have a little community of people. It was the first time that I felt seen and connected to. And that comes in many different types of ways. Representation, being able to connect, comes in so many different ways, right? When you meet somebody who listens to the same music as you, you're like, oh, I connect with you. We watch, we read the same books, we listen to the same art.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's one of the simplest ways that we can connect. Another way that's very powerful is when you see on the big screen somebody who looks like you, somebody who came from the same cultural background as you. That's when you really connect. You're like, holy crap, this person from Mexico with a Mexican father, with an Ecuadorian mother, this person who was a first generation Latino in this country, this person's on the big screen. This person's doing that movie. He's the lead in this film. He's portraying these, he's in the freaking sky flying and whooping butt. Like, uh, that's a very powerful message. And it's a very important thing. It's a very important subject. And as I mentioned, I'm just trying to do the best projects to put out the best messages for the youth, for Latinos, and uh, and then on top of that, just connect with them, give them advice, talk to people, and I'm actually doing a meet and greet June 17th very soon. So I'm doing a meet and greet, and at these meet and greets, I
Ooh.
talk to everybody. It's not just a walk in, hi, selfies, signature. I don't do that.
Sorry, bye-bye. Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't want to do that. I go there so I can meet the people who are around me, first of all, in my community, and who are really struggling with anything in their life. Who, if they need advice, and if I'm the candidate to help them, I'll give
Mm-hmm.
them advice. I'll tell them what to do, where to go. And if I'm not, I'll tell them where to go or who to go to or who to listen to. Because I think it's important. It's 3 hours of my day, costs me absolutely nothing, and I'm giving back to people who've supported me. So I want to keep doing that in my life.
I think that's absolutely beautiful, and I feel like, especially you talking about your meet and greets,
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of times there's this separation of connection between viewer and actor, or viewer and musician, or whatever, where, and I will admit, because before I started making more friends in the music industry or the acting industry or whatever, I was guilty of this too, to a certain extent, but it portrays a lot of talent as, I won't say bigger than life, but that they're not, like they're on a different level than
Yeah,
you are. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So it's always nice when I hear stuff like you just said about your meet and greets and stuff where you actually make
yeah.
that time to connect. Because I feel like that helps a lot for people, whether you understand it or not.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I think we're all equal in this world, and I think that if I could help anybody in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to. And that's what I really plan on doing for the next 20 years of my life, whether it's with films, whether it's with teaching, whether it's with other projects or other adventures. I want to connect with people. I want to give back. I want to help out in any way, shape, or form that I can. And I want to keep growing as an artist, as a human being, I want to keep growing. I want to keep going, and that's all you can really do, you know.
That's absolutely beautiful. What is a talent that you don't currently have but fascinates you enough that you would want to learn it?
Wow, I think definitely dancing. I need to learn how to dance. I 100% need to learn like salsa or something because I get auditions for these projects and in fine print it'll say must be a dancer, and I'll be like, hey, hey Peter, I can't dance, dude. And he'll be like, no, 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 it's okay. The director knows you suck at dancing. I'm like, well, gee, thanks. He's like, yeah, the
Yeah,
director
thanks for making that
back.
clear, Peter.
So I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I need to learn how to dance. Can't be having a bad reputation and not being able to dance in Hollywood.
I know. And you're part Latino, you gotta learn how to salsa or something.
It's in our blood. I just need someone to show me the first like 5 moves and I'll be good from there.
There you go. Um, and finally, because we're already in June, which blows my mind, this year is gone by so fast.
Right?
But looking at the remaining months of 2023, are there any other things that you are excited for that we haven't talked about, either professionally or just personally?
I mean, professionally and personally, my both worlds kind of collide. I mean, I'm very excited for. I got a film called Bad Hombres coming out with Tyrese Gibson,
Hmm?
where's the co-stars, and then I have another film called Muzzle alongside Aaron Eckhart. And I'm excited for those two films to come out. I'm excited to launch this acting program and really give back to the community of people who have supported me and teach them a little bit about what I do and how to do it, how to break into it with a clear and safe roadmap. And I'm just really excited to I'm just excited to see what's in store, and see what's in store for me in these next chapters. I'm 25 years old. I feel sharper than I ever have, and I've made some projects that I cringe at still to this day, and there's things that I've learned so much in this career. So now I'm just really excited for my next project because I truly think my next one I'll be able to do the role justice. Any role that comes my way, I'll be able to do it justice because I've been working with an acting coach lately and just really trying to not perfect my craft because that's not the right word. It's not perfect. But just sharpen the blade. So I'm excited. I love what I get to do for a living, and I'm excited to go back onto set. I think I'm back on in August. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited, and I'm in love with what I do, and I want to keep doing it. You know what I mean?